survive when all your awful movies suddenly come alive, bursting out of their case, getting up in your face, the real rotten stinkers that are out of their place. They're thrashing, bashing, swinging and crashing. They're bringing all the terror and the tears. But look who's walking in, free glasses and a grin. An unlikely hero appears. Movie man, he's got the magic moves and he thinks he can't lose. Movie man, fighting back with his reviews and a gallon of booze. In the theater of the mind, he's braving the front lines, saving you from terrible movies, one film at a time. Stupid story, gone really boring. I'm done acting terrible. You're out, film unbearable. Just shout.
If you didn't know already, it's the 35th anniversary of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And it's a disappointing chapter in this once great horror franchise, showing just how far the series has strayed from the original. Released in 1989, this film serves as a stark reminder that not every sequel can capture the brilliance of its predecessor. The plot is a convoluted jumble that fails to deliver any semblance of suspense or coherence. The introduction of the Man in Black subplot feels like a desperate attempt to inject mystery into a narrative that, frankly, doesn't deserve it. Instead of deepening the lore, it muddles the story, leaving viewers confused and disengaged. What should be a chilling continuation of the Michael Myers' relentless pursuit becomes a messy tangle of half-baked ideas. Performances are lackluster at best. While Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd shows a flicker of talent, the supporting cast delivers wooden, uninspired performances that lack any real depth or emotional resonance. Especially Wendy Kaplan, who has a very manic and painfully annoying performance as Tina. The introduction of Tina marks a new low point in the franchise. Unlike previous characters that had depth and relatable qualities, Tina feels like a frustrating stereotype from that time period, reducing the film's tension rather than enhancing it. Tina's decision-making is baffling. Her reckless actions often put herself and others in danger, making it hard for viewers to empathise with her plight. The film relies heavily on her as a protagonist in the latter half of the film, but her shallow characterization and repetitive tropes undermine any potential for genuine horror or suspense. And I hate to admit it, I was kinda rooting for Michael to end her. Donald Pleasance reprises his role as Dr. Loomis, and he tries his best to bring gravitas to the proceedings. But even he is hampered by a script that feels more like a series of tropes than a compelling narrative. And I'm pretty sure he was drunk during this film, just like he was in the original film. But for some reason it's way more noticeable in this one. And let's not forget the side characters. The supporting casts are blandly written and lack any real development. For instance, the returning characters from previous films feel like shadows of their former selves, existing only to fulfill predictable roles without any depth. Their interactions often come off as forced and cliché, diminishing the film's emotional stakes. The new additions like the goofy police officers and the overly dramatic sidekick are more distracting than engaging. Instead of adding to the tension, their antics feel misplaced, leading to a disjointed tone that undermines the horror atmosphere. The comic relief attempts fall flat and seem jarring in the context of a slasher film, taking viewers out of the intended suspense. And let's not forget the police guys have their own theme song to emphasise the comic tone. Well, I'm serious. In this, a serious slasher film, they have their own theme song. Just give it a listen.
All clear.
Nothing above, nothing below.
Yeah, that's the tone we're looking for. What the fuck?
Back to the other characters, even Jamie's friends are portrayed as caricatures, lacking individuality and making their fates feel unimpactful. When characters are so poorly developed, it's hard for the audience to care about their survival, which dilutes the film's horror elements. As you can see, the side characters in Halloween 5 do little to elevate the story. Their lack of depth and compelling arcs not only detracts from the overall experience, but also highlights the missed potential for creating a more engaging narrative within this beloved franchise. And now the direction by Dominique Othenin-Girard. It leaves much to be desired. The film oscillates between tedious pacing and chaotic moments that fail to generate genuine tension. What's more particularly frustrating is the missed opportunity for an effective horror. Instead of building an atmosphere of dread, we're left with an uninspired visual representation that doesn't do justice to the franchise's legacy. Additionally, the film's production values feel cheap, with lackluster special effects that fail to elicit any real impact. The kills, which could have salvaged the film, lack the creativity and brutality that fans crave. Instead, they come off as routine and uninspired, diminishing the horror that Michael Myers once represented. In a genre that thrives on innovation and tension, Halloween 5 stands as a glaring example of how to squander a rich legacy. It feels more like a cash grab than a sincere continuation of the beloved horror franchise. For those seeking the visceral thrills and psychological depth of the original, this sequel is a disappointing mistake, leaving fans longing for the days when Michael Myers instilled fear. Ooh.
Guns. Huh. Door seems to be jammed on the other side. What could be causing that? Doesn't matter. Luckily, I know a way in. There we go. Shit. Lupin.